Now, across Texas, the issue is.
I'm Rudy Koski in Austin.
I'm Greg Grugan in Houston.
And I'm Stephen Dial in Dallas, and this is Texas, the issue is.
The issue now is the battle for the State House gavel. The start of the regular session is in January, not far away, and Speaker Dade Phelan is still trying to rally from that political primary blitz that he survived this past spring. To help with that, he's putting former Governor Rick Perry back into the game. Perry left the governor's mansion back in 2015, but he still knows a thing or two about rebounding from a hard political hit. I spoke to Governor Perry about his new role as a senior advisor to the embattled House Speaker.
The Speaker's race is kind of the focal point at this particular point in time. I see a lot of members. I talk to a lot of members as I go and as I travel, and the Speaker's race is over with.
You say the Speaker race is over, and yet there was a group of Republicans who recently met together to select their anointed individual, that Representative Cook. What do you say to them?
You can say what you want to say. The proof's in the pudding, and Dade Phelan has the votes to be the next Speaker.
You know, I was trying to look back and say, all right, what is this period comparable to? And I guess it's back to Speaker Tom Craddock back in 2007 when the session was coming to an end. Things got contentious.
You know, there's a great example in this Ronald Reagan documentary that's just come on, where Tip O'Neill literally goes to Reagan's bedside. These guys just were, formidable opponents on legislative issues. But when Reagan got shot, Tip O'Neill went and literally said the rosary at his bedside. That's the type of Judeo-Christian values that I like to see out of all people. And I hope we all can exhibit that going forward, and battle greatly on the on the floor of the House, on the Senate, out of the governor's office about the things that we care about. But when it's over with, go have a beer together.
In saying that, that is the criticism against Speaker Phelan, is that he reaches across the aisle, works with Democrats, and there are members of the GOP that don't like that and have made that an issue, saying it should be just us.
This idea that we don't work with the Democrats is a bad idea, in my opinion. That's not what representative government's all about. Go make your best arguments, and then make the best deal that you can, and then go forward with it.
What's your advice coming out of what could be a very contentious November, moving into January as the session starts?
I've never gotten everything I wanted. School choice is a great example. I'm going to continue to work towards that, but I'm not going to pull a hand grenade out of my pocket and pull the pin and roll it into the House and blow it up because I didn't get that issue done.
So in a way, are you a fence bender?
I certainly will wear that title if I can help bring folks together. And I'm going to try to help the Speaker from the standpoint of giving me good ideas about, here's how you address this school choice issue.
Do you think you convinced the Speaker to kind of find a way to get school choice across the finish line?
Well, I've laid out a new idea that I'm not going to share with you at this particular point in time. That gives some, let's just call it, gives some comfort to members who may think that school choice, the whole voucher concept, some public money's going to private schools is a bad idea. If the people of your district basically say, it's not such a bad idea, then giving folks a little bit of protection, so to speak, so that they don't feel like they're exposed, might be a concept that time has come. So we're going to throw a lot of Jell-O at the wall, so to speak here, Rudy.
To work a crowd, and he knows how to navigate rough political waters. But this time, he's in a different kind of political storm, which is why my word for that interview is headwind. Could have been Jell-O. I like Jell-O too. Greg, what's your word?
Rudy, my word is succession.
Stephen, give me a word.
I'm taking a word from the former governor, grenade.
That's good. With that, the Texas trio will reset, and we'll be back to discuss the battle for the State House gavel. Former Governor Rick Perry is on Team Dade Phelan, hired as a senior advisor to the House Speaker. Greg Perry says the race for Speaker is over. What are you hearing?
Rudy, ever since you scored this interview, I've been reaching out to Houston area Republicans, and they are sharing some pretty provocative intel. First, depending on who you talk to, the Republican caucus is split 50-50 or 60-40 between demonstrably conservative Phelan supporters and the even more right-of-center, fire-breathing opposition. So even if some of Phelan's support melts away, the Speaker has enough loyalists to keep the gavel when coupled with the near certain unanimous Democratic backing. The question becomes, after winning that knockdown, drag-out primary fight, does Dade Phelan want to preside over the House as Joe Strauss 2.0? More than one representative tells me Phelan may have little interest in a diluted speakership wrangling a disgruntled, disloyal GOP majority, egged on by Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. And another highly credible source says yet another rival may well emerge from the scrum as a potential compromise successor to Phelan.
Yeah, I've been hearing that that maybe Representative Smithy, supposedly Dan Patrick's pushing for him. You know, still, Stephen, Representative David Cook is the House member who was picked recently to be the Speaker nominee by that breakaway group of Republicans. He declined our interview request, but you did get a kind of a look at his strategy for this gavel game, right?
Right. I mean, he's from up here in North Texas, and basically his spokesperson is saying he's focused on talking to his constituents and to his fellow lawmakers. We'll see how far that goes. But it remains to be seen how many ballots we're going to go through in January when they try to name a speaker. Will it be Cook? Or will it be Phelan? Of course, like Greg said, he has support from the Democrats, but it's really going to come down to, is Phelan going to just be Speaker in name only and not really have power? It reminds me of what House Republicans just went through in Congress.
Right. Yeah. You know, and also, you know, Greg brought up Speaker Strauss, that last session. Gosh, that was just really ugly, and it resulted in him basically saying he wasn't going to run for re-election. The giant political meteor, though, that has blown up the Texas GOP, other than that Nazi scandal, was and is school choice. Perry says he has a choice plan for Phelan that he believes that could actually get through the House. He didn't want to reveal it in our interview. Greg, have your sources leaked any details?
Rudy, I'm not hearing anything definitive, although rural carve-outs and income thresholds have been mentioned in the past. Our friend Dr. Mark Jones says Governor Abbott appears to have accumulated enough votes to avoid any super serious horse trading, so we'll have to see if anything is on the table. Of course, there's also the oldest lubricant on the books, money. School districts took a hard pass on the billions of dollars in additional funding Abbott offered them last session. Now that the federal COVID dollars have run dry, many districts are aching for additional cash and may be willing to accept the inevitable on choice in exchange for compensation.
Yeah, show me the money. Among House Republicans, some type of deal on school choice in the Texas House, you know, is pretty much, I think, all but expected. Stephen, passage may still need a few Democrats. Who is on your radar to jump on that choice bandwagon?
Man, I don't really think Democrats are. I think this is something that they're going to draw a line in the sand. But I do agree that there's going to be a deal. We're not going to go another session without some type of deal for public education. So, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, I think Greg's plan of just throwing more money at it may be able to quiet some, but I don't see Democrats just hopping the fence.
You know, quickly, guys, it wasn't a surprise that Perry called out the all or nothing compromise, no compromise approach with the Democrats and, you know, pushing things like no Democrats in a committee chair in that pledge. If Phelan is replaced by a hardliner, I think the odds of another Democrat walkout will be pretty high. Greg, quickly, what's your issue that could blow things up, like Perry said?
A hard right push for additional reproductive restrictions like a ban on abortion pills.
Stephen, you got an issue?
Yeah, I mean, I think abortion could be big, but I think Democrats are going to be more emboldened this year. We'll have to wait and see which topic.
All right, we'll end it there. You can see this interview or any of our past interviews by going to our YouTube pages.
Talk to us on social media.
And we will be back same time, same place, the Fox Texas Trio. Remember to let us know what you think the issue is.